I am going to make Asafoetida chili chips, and this is a recipe where I'm actually testing two different things at once. So Asafoetida chili chips are French fries or hot chips, where in one of my videos on Asafoetida or Hing, talking about what Hing is and how to use it and its benefits and all those things. And I had a viewer on YouTube comment that Hing and chili, or Asafoetida and chili on hot chips, is like amazing. And so I wanted to do it to camera. Now, the second part of this testing is that where I buy my potato chips or, you know, French fries, I don't know, it depends where you live is what you call them, but we call them hot chips. In Margaret River, they come from Manjimup, which is a town not very far away, so they're very beautiful potatoes, they're very delicious. But they sell at the fish shop, and the gentleman, Mark, who works at the fish shop, said to me, apparently the way to cook them, because I twice cook them normally in the oven and then I deep fry them, he said that his sister told him that if you put them in grapeseed oil cold and then bring the grapeseed oil up to temperature, apparently they're like the crispiest, most delicious chips ever. So I'm going to try it. So cold to hot. And it seems very contrary to me, but I'm going to give it a go. So I'm not cooking a lot of these chips, mainly because it's not really a recipe. It's cook your chips and then we're going to see what happens with the Asafoetida and the chili on top. So it's as you like for volume. We're snacking all day while filming, so I'm going to keep it small. I'm going to put the grapeseed oil in my kadai, so in my cast iron wok, pot, vessel. So just enough so that I can kind of shallow fry the chips. Now this kadai is quite big. So apparently I'm going to put them in cold, which I don't know, it feels, look at that. Feels like they'd be very stodgy. But grapeseed oil has no aroma and it has a very high cooking, a heat point, which is why it's used for something like this, so deep frying chips. See how heavy it is? I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna have to wait for some time. And while we're waiting, I will talk to you a little bit about Hing or Asafoetida. So Hing is the Hindi. Asafoetida refers to its botanical name. So Asa is the plant genus. It's in the same family as the coriander family. Pretty sure, I might get that wrong, I'll have to double check. I'm sure someone will tell me if I get it wrong. And fetida means stink in Latin, so it's very smelly. I think that's classic. So its botanical name is essentially that it smells bad, which it sort of does. Pierce. I think I need a knife, hang on. Now, when I say that it smells bad, doesn't smell bad. It is very pungent. So I've done a few videos on Asafoetida and it's essentially like it's a sulfur, it's the root of a plant that's dried and then either turned into a resin or turned into a powder, and this is the powder variety. In cultures like Kashmiri Hindu culture, like my family culture, it's used because we don't use garlic and onion, and so it adds this very beautiful nuance of sulfur. But it also has a quality similar to a salt in that it helps to delineate other spices in the masala, and in delineating those spices they communicate with more volume, so it increases the intensity of flavour in the same way that salt does, which I guess is why this YouTube viewer's advice was the chili and the Hing as opposed to chili and salt. So I'm going to be interested to see if we need to add salt as well, because if we don't, then that's actually a really great solution for someone who has to keep a low sodium diet, really, like, and you love chips. Use Hing and, oh, I've butchered that well and truly. Anyway, okay, so one of the considerations of Hing, Asafoetida, when used in the powdered form for celiacs, is that it's not gluten-free. So most of the time, or it can be, but it's quite hard to find, and you have to check the label because routinely there is wheat in Asafoetida packaging. So this one says gum, wheat starch, Asafoetida. So just be aware of that if you're celiac, and if you're eating at Indian restaurants too. Like quite often this is used in certain dishes. Here's our chips. So they're bubbling away. It's not a quick process, quite clearly. I hope it works. You know, one of the things about grapeseed oil is it doesn't suit masala because it is so clean, it's slippery. And by that I mean, like, masala doesn't so much infuse it as grapeseed oil slips away from masala. So as a carriage for flavor, it's not very functional. But I guess in a circumstance like this, when you're looking at keeping a produce in cold oil, maybe that sort of slipperiness or the cleanness of the oil stops the produce from feeling weighted, stops the produce from absorbing it when it's cold, because, you know, when you have produce that's fried in either old oil or oil that's not hot enough, it has that really kind of flaccid, horrible oil content flavour. So, oh yeah, that's actually crisping up. Look at that. Okay. All right. I'll hold my judgment. I need to get some newspaper to drain it on. It's coming together. That it's kind of working. They feel crispy. You'd have to do them in one batch though, but that might be good. I've been thinking about testing that out for ages, so thank you my friends on YouTube for encouraging me to, even if you don't know that you're encouraging me, thinking about doing this was encouragement. So that's really cool. Look at that, they're very crispy. And instead of having to cook them for an hour in the oven before I deep fry them, that's just a one-stop shop. That is pretty amazing. I can feel how hollow they are, like the crispiness of them. You tap on them and they feel like, it's amazing. Okay, now we're gonna see about this Asafoetida chili business. So do we want to do a hot chili or a Kashmiri chili? I feel like it needs to be a hot chili. Do we do two? Let's do two. We'll do a Kashmiri and a hot chili. Oh, and because I'm excessive, we'll do a white pepper as well, because that actually just calms the chili down a little bit. When you scaffold peppers and chilies together, the pepper will disperse the heat of the chili into a different part of the palate, and it leaves it feeling a little bit more like consumable. It's not as inflammatory or as confrontational. Okay, so this is the Asafoetida. Yeah, it smells like. Yeah, very pungent. Okay, let's do this. Asafoetida, I'm going to treat it a bit like it's salt. Then a little bit of white pepper, a little bit of chili, This is a hot brown red chili, and then a Kashmiri chili, which is less hot but colourful. So it looks super pretty. Just put this back in there. All right, give them a stir. Let's see what happens. Wow, it smells amazing. It smells like a yummy street food stall. Okay. Like I can smell the heat of it. It's dusty, it smells dry and bricky and peppery. Oh yeah. Wow, that's amazing. The Asafoetida, the Hing makes them tangy. Like, and the chili's not super inflamed. It's like pepper, but it's milder, and the Hing is like salt but more interesting and more tangy. It's delicious. What's nice about it is that it's familiar. If you gave this to someone and you didn't tell them what was in it, they wouldn't know, but the texture of the masala, or the texture of the experience of aroma, is richer and more complex while not being incoherent with the chip, because chips are super simple. You don't want it to be too fancy, or you lose the essence of the chip, which is just potato fried simplicity. That is legitimately an incredible discovery. So Hing or Asafoetida, a little bit of chili, a little bit of pepper, and it's just a different way of experiencing chips. If you do have to cut your salt intake, this is a brilliant way to do it, at least for chips. Yum. I could even put a little bit more. I was a bit scared it would be overwhelming. No, it's even better. Yeah, really good. Give it a try. Simple ways to use masala to make food that you already love more interesting and beautiful without any fuss. Delicious. Not so humble tip.